I'm Joyce with Johnson Plastics Plus. I'm here today to talk about the Flux Rotary 2.0, compatible with the Hexa 60-watt CO2 laser. So what is a rotary? Well, it's used to engrave cylindrical objects such as tumblers and drinkware. And in this case, with the Rotary 2.0, you can actually engrave items that are tapered without having to use something like a spacing disc. So I'm going to show you what's coming in this box and how to set up to do a job like this. Now it is time to set up our rotary. Before I can set up the rotary, however, I have to take out the honeycomb. This particular unit, I just ran it all the way to the bottom. There are some clips that you can lift up on and just gently remove it and set it off to the side. Now, let's check out what came in our box for our rotary. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. There are two layers. Let me go ahead and pull them out so you can see them. Layer 1 and layer 2. In the first layer, you will find a QR code that enables you to go watch a video about quick starting up your Rotary 2.0. Just below that, you're going to find the cable you need to connect the rotary to the laser itself. Set that off to the side for right now. You're also going to find both this is your extension unit. It comes with two different sizes here. This one is for close set items or items that are still fairly rounded at the end. Or you have an offset unit that enables you to handle things such as wine glasses or baseball bats. You're also going to get this magnetic L-bar. This lets you kind of brace an item when it's in the rotary, and I'll show you how you use that later. This is the rotary attachment itself. It opens up here on the back. And then this has a slider bar. This is your rotary. This is a slider bar that allows you to open and close it. And then also this is your connection to your laser. That's everything for layer 1. Layer 2 has 3 metal braces in them basically. You will notice on the back of each brace there is a letter A, B, and C. We will need those in that order when we go ahead and install this in the bed of the laser. We want to start with brace A. That's the first one. And we're going to go ahead and set it here in the laser. You can install this rotary anywhere on this side of the laser, giving you the full width of the laser that the laser head can travel to engrave any of your items. It allows you to do things such as baseball bats or longer items like that. Now we're going to go ahead and install B and C. We're going to need to adjust these depending on our item. So don't get too comfortable with where they're at. They're going to move a little bit. There we go. So we have our 3 braces in. Now we need our rotary. So I like to start with my rotary here on A. It butts up to, there's a little lip on the back of the A brace that allows it to rest on that. And then I set my B brace at the end of my rotary, and there's little tiny catches and lips here that allows it to rest on that as well. So that is my A and B set with my rotary on it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put my adjustment item here, my adjustment piece, on platform C. Now I will need to move that based totally on what size object I'm looking to engrave. So I will need to be able to move this entire piece back and forth and also raise or lower this depending again on the size of my item. Okay, now I'm ready to actually connect my rotary to my laser. I'm going to go ahead to make this easier on myself. I'm going to run the bed up a little bit. I'm going to grab my cable. And I like to have my cable under the bed. That way then I don't potentially pinch it or run it over as I'm raising and lowering the autofocus. And I just go ahead and connect this to the port that's in the back of the Hexa laser, and again to the connection that's here on the back of the rotary. So now my rotary is installed. I'm ready to grab my drinkware and start engraving it. The great thing about the Rotary 2.0 is that you can do lots of different size objects. I'm going to show setting up a couple different ones so that you have an idea before you pick your drinkware out. For example, this is our stemless wine glass. It's available on jpplus.com, and it has kind of an interesting taper. It's not completely sharp. It's a really rounded, bulging taper here. And so I'm actually going to put this on this item on the rotary in reverse. So what I'm going to first do is set my width here, and I need to set my height. So I'm going to have to move my C in a little bit. I want to go ahead and lower this down. And then I'm going to actually raise this up just a little bit. What I am looking for is that this surface that I'm planning to engrave is fairly level. I don't want it to be super tipped up one direction or the other. For example, if it's tipped down like this, I'm not going to get a good engrave on the second half of the item. If it's tipped the other direction and tipped super high, it won't engrave well up here. So I'm looking to make that area level. If you're having trouble eyeballing this, go ahead and get yourself a small bubble level available at most hardware stores. That will help you achieve level. So I'm going to just tip this just a little bit so that my surface here is fairly level. And then I'm going to bring my laser head over, and I'm going to use the autofocus feature by double clicking autofocus and allow it to set the height on its own. So now that my item is in focus with the laser and it's level here, I would be able to go ahead and send my job. However, it might move because again, this is not a straight-sided object. So I'm going to use the extra L bar that they sent. This is magnetic. And by putting it here on the back, I can actually kind of snug it up to the back of my item, and that helps keep it from rolling right off of these rollers. This is a 30-ounce tumbler. So normally on the previous rotary, you would go ahead and have a spacer disc here to help bridge that gap of the taper. We don't have to have that anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and set it up on the Rotary 2.0. To do so, I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, sliding that open. And I'm going to slide my C bar back a little bit so that I have a little space here to work. And the great thing about this being so adjustable is that you can really move this up and down until you can get your item at where you want it and completely level. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up just a little bit more. So now, right now, I'm trying to achieve focus So right now I'm bringing the laser head over so I can look and see how well I've achieved focus here on this upper section. I would still engrave this in 2 sections because you really want to keep the area you're engraving level and set at the correct focal distance for your laser. So for example, I would take this upper section and engrave it first. So right now let's focus on just getting this set up to be nice and level and in focus here. So what I might do is if I didn't have a bubble level, I could take a ruler and see what the distance is from the autofocus point here to the autofocus point here, which would then tell me if I need to raise or lower the back of this item. So now that my item is in focus, I want to make sure it's not going to roll or move. So again, I'm going to take this L bracket. It's magnetic. It snaps right on top of the rotary. And I just make it snug right against the lip of the cup to help keep it from rolling off the rotary as it turns. Now this one would be ready to send a job to it. Let's take a look at one more cup. This is a pint glass. It's very small, but it has a very steep taper and a very narrow bottom. So this one we're going to go ahead and set up. I'm going to get it where it's level and bring it up just a little bit here. And again, we're looking for that level. We want the level surface right here so that way then it's going to engrave while it's in focus. And I want to keep it from rolling out of these bars, so I'm going to go ahead and use my magnetic. Now I'm too far away for the magnet, so I'm going to go ahead and move all of this closer so that I can implement my magnetic arm, hold the item in place, and check it again for level. Bringing my autofocus over. Now this has got quite a distance here, so let's see what it does. All right. Now that my cup is in focus and my rotary is set, I'm ready to send a job and engrave this item. All right, now that we have our rotary set up in our laser, it's time to send a job. So let's go into the software and do that. We're going to start by opening Beam Studio. It's here on my screen. And what I need to start with is actually come into this Edit button here on the top taskbar, select Document Settings, and turn on the rotary by selecting that and having it turn blue. Then I want to go ahead and hit Save. This brings a blue line here onto the screen. That is going to be the center of my rotary rotation, so I will need that when I go to set my artwork up. Now we're going to take a picture of where our rotary is sitting in the bed so that we have an idea of where to place our artwork. I'm going to grab a section, and up here you're going to see Preview. This is how many camera pictures it's going to take. And then it's going to go ahead and just start previewing that camera, previewing the bed. And you can see my tumbler sitting in there. And if you want to, you can always grab more pictures of an object by just dragging and selecting over it. And then the camera is going to go ahead and take another series of photos to try and give me the best and most accurate representation of where my tumbler is sitting in the rotary. All right, now I'm going to grab this blue line. I'm going to actually kind of drag it to where it's the center of my rotary. So I have kind of an idea here that this is where my center line for the rotation of the rotary is, and I'm going to place my artwork on that. So now I need to bring in my artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and open a file. And here's my artwork. Now, my artwork has a blue dot here on the top of it. You can use that dot to rotate the artwork, but I'm also going to use it to center it on my blue line. So that dot is in the center of my artwork. And now I know that the center of my artwork is sitting on top of my rotary. Now, I just need to go ahead and set up some settings here. Make sure that my artwork is at the brightest threshold it can be. So it's going to be nice and solid lined on the edges. And then I need to set my power and speed. This is going to vary depending on what type of material you're using. For example, if you were going to engrave on glass or some other item, you would select either a preset here, or you might have to do a little trial and error. For instance, I know that this works really well at 55 and 8 inches per second. So I'm going to go ahead and set my power and my speed setting. And then all that's left is to send my job. Beam Studio is going to go ahead and calculate it, calculate the toolpath that the job needs to take. And now it's ready to start. This does give me a time estimate of 3 minutes and 33 seconds for this job to run. All I have to do is hit start, and we're going to get to see the Rotary 2.0 engrave this tumbler. Thanks for joining me today on our walkthrough of the Flux Rotary 2.0. If you're interested in the rotary, feel free to reach out to the JP Plus website. It's available there. If you have any questions, customer success can help you through there as well.